We are exactly 2 days away, guys, until the West Virginia Mountaineers put an absolute beat down on the Ohio Bobcattons. We're talking about that up next on the Voice of Morgantown show. Let's get it.
So Morgantown, we break it first. WVU pride, we quench your thirst. No spin, all truth, loud and proud. Mountaineer nation, say it loud. The Voice of Morgantown. VOM, Mountaineer pride, we go all in. First to the facts, last to the spin. It's the Voice of Morgantown. Let's begin.
All right, Mountaineer Nation, my name is Brad Smith. I'm here tonight with my guy, Bernie Mac. Bernie Mac, I'm not even going to entertain the idea that West Virginia could lose to Ohio on Saturday. What do you think, man? Is there any chance that at all that the Mountaineers fall at Ohio on Saturday?
Look, there's always a chance things can happen. Do I think they're going to fall? I don't. I'm going to be betting big. I'm just going on the record now. I'm throwing down some serious cash to cover that little 3-point spread. So I will be in heavy rooting on Mountaineers.
The 3.5-point spot is insulting. I mean, come on. I think what the problem is that a lot of people in Vegas still think that Neil Brown is our head coach and think that there's a chance that we could potentially lose this game. I don't see it happening, man.
I totally agree. I don't think people understand the change in the culture, the mentality shift all around the program right now. And, I think that game last week, like we talked about, you take away some of those turnovers, that game could have been 65-3. You know what I mean?
Yes.
It just was really, we had some really sloppy ball control. But, again, I think you're just not going to see poor game management like we've seen in the Neil Brown days. And I've said it all year. Zach Alley, his defensive mind, he's the X factor. He's going to be the guy that's always going to keep us in the game. We've had it for years now under Neil Brown, where anytime the defense was on the field, we were nervous. I don't feel that way anymore. I see them take risks, but at the end of the day, I know that we have a really great defensive coach, and he's going to put him in a position to make plays, and he's going to hold him accountable to what his standards are.
Yep. A couple days ago, I wrote an article on how or why West Virginia is going to win. I had 5 keys to victory. Here's our first key, Bernie, that I came up with is protect the ball. We had 4 turnovers in our first game against Robert Morris. I think this is key number 1. We can't have a bunch of turnovers. We can't lose the game. We have to, we can't allow ourselves to be beaten by ourselves.
Totally agree. And that Rich Rod was preaching that this week at practice, ball security. We were joking around about it last show about, we could see somebody walking in like the program where, hey, anybody brings me this ball but you're in trouble, right? But we know that's going to be a tremendous focus. And that was definitely something that I think, again, highlighted some of the sloppiness of the play last week. I thought the game would have gotten way out of hand if we didn't have those turnovers.
My prediction is we're not going to have any fumbles this week. I think there's going to be an extra emphasis on taking care of the football, and my prediction is we do not have any fumbles this week, man. What do you think?
Again, I mean, things could happen. I know that the weather could be a little bit of an issue. They're calling for some rain, but you never know. I think there's definitely going to be an emphasis on ball security. I think anybody that does fumble is not going to want to be at practice that next week. So,
right. Yeah. The second key to victory that I had was to let Nico cook. Nico Markhill was the 4th rated quarterback in the nation this last week, according to PFF. And listen, guys, if he has time to sit back and make throws, he's going to make the throws. I think that's pretty obvious now. He was super accurate. The only chance that he really had to drop back and throw a deep ball, he put it right on the money to Cam Vaughn. It couldn't have been a better pass. So let it open up the playbook a little bit, let him throw downfield, put him in positions to throw downfield. And like I said, just let him cook.
Right. And again, I mean, you look at some of the passes he completed that resulted in fumbles, right? It would have added to his yardage. It would have increased his efficiency. I mean, they count as completions because of the fumbles, but I mean, overall, right? Like it would have padded his stats a little further, would have kept the drives alive. Nico was ultra efficient last week, and I think this week when he's put in a little bit more of a challenge, you're just going to see him continue to step up, make plays, and evolve as a playmaker and the leader of the team. So, I wouldn't be surprised to see Rich Rod throw some wrinkles in there, different packages with some of our speedier quarterbacks, design run plays. But ultimately, at the end of the day, the game's going to go how Nico plays.
Yeah, I thought Jalen Henderson looked good in the short time that he was in, at least on the ground. I think it would be nice to bring him in, throughout the game and let him, get a designed run. I don't want to see him throw right now, man. I really don't. I don't see any reason why we would allow him to throw over Nico right now. I don't think he's as accurate, but occasionally bringing him in for some runs seems to make a lot of sense right now.
Yeah, and I think it keeps the defense honest too, right? I think, look, Nico can run it. We saw that. We've seen it. But when you have that different burst factor quarterback, it just changes the tempo a little bit, puts the linebackers back in space, and it just makes them a little harder to run downhill and protect the run. So I would not be surprised to see Rich Rod throw some wrinkles in there with some designed runs, whether it's Henderson or Fox, right? I mean, he had the biggest run of the game with that burst. So never know. You never know what you're going to see this week.
Yeah. So the third key to victory that I had was to dominate the line of scrimmage. Bernie, when I first watched the game, I did my post-game grades on X and on an article, and I had the offensive line at a C-. Well, I watched it again the other night, and I don't think it was even close to a C-. I think we were somewhere near an F. I was really shocked at how little room Jaheim White was given. Nico Markhill, he really didn't have much of a pocket ever to pass in. And so I dropped that rating to an F. Listen, man, if we don't fix this offensive line situation by Pitt or when we start playing power four, I think we're going to be in a lot of trouble.
I would agree. And, I think that offensive line is one of those skill positions that does take a little time for the unit to gel. You have to work more cohesively and cover each other's spots. So I'm just chalking it up to a lot of turnover on the line. And I'm hoping that the coaching staff is addressing that this week. But, Jaheim really should have had more room to run. And I think you would have had a bigger game if they could have created any kind of larger holes for him. And, it's tough to see too, man, because Jaheim is so talented. You just want him to get those accolades and the kudos every week so everybody sees what we see. And if the offensive line doesn't get their act together, they're going to put him in some bad positions this year. And they have to maintain their blocks and hit those gaps because it's just you can't, no matter how talented you are, you don't want our lead back like that, taking contact if he doesn't have to take contact and not being able to get in the space to be as explosive as he is. So I really do hope they're putting some work on it this week. And again, I'm just hoping it's taking some time to gel. Maybe they'll shift some positions around. I don't know, but they've definitely got to clean it up.
Nick Gray was the highest rated offensive lineman against Robert Morris. He had a 68.5 PFF grade. That's just not good enough. And so we have a very good offensive line coach in Jack Bicknell. He's literally been everywhere. He's coached for the Steelers. He's coached for Miami, Nebraska. I mean, he's coached everywhere, right. Wisconsin. And so he's an outstanding, experienced head offensive line coach. And so I expect it to be fixed soon, but I just hope it's fixed before the Pitt game.
I totally couldn't agree more. I mean, it's right now, to your point, it's our weakest position. And unfortunately, that whole aggregate group dictates a lot of the offense, right? So again, you could only be so skilled to where your O-line may put you in a bad spot. And we've said that a long time ago when we had a really bad O-line and, we had Daggy and we had said like Garrett Green would have been able to at least escape when that protection broke down. But it's definitely a concern, man. I mean, I'm definitely missing Zach Frazier and Thomas Remack right now. I'll tell you that.
Absolutely. The fourth key to victory that I came up with was big plays from the wide receivers. Cam Vaughn had a great first game. He had 7 catches for 126 yards and a touchdown. But we really didn't have any other wide receiver that really stood out. Rodney Gallagher didn't get a single catch from the slot. He did have one end-around run, which was, I think he got like 9 yards. But I'd like to see him get a little bit more involved. Jaden Bray had 3 catches, I believe. But we really need some big plays out of some other players other than Cam Vaughn.
Yeah, and I think we're going to see that. I think, it's just a good matchup in that game last week. And I think Vaughn's going to be a tough matchup for anybody. I don't care who you are on the corner, right? Like, he's just too dynamic. So I think it's just the way the game flowed. And maybe he was just more open because he was beating his corner more badly than the other receivers. And, Nico saw that. So I expect that as we get into some of the tougher games, we get into more of the P4 games, you're going to see different opportunities being created for some of the slot guys and some of the other guys on the team. And you know what? If they key on Vaughn, there's going to be opportunity and there's going to be openings for the other receivers because they're all skilled and talented as well. And I just don't think we've seen this offense really open it up yet. I think last week, first half was really messy. And then they came out firing in the second half. So I think, again, we're just going to see some adjustments. We're going to see a lot of different people get involved, which is great. But look, I'm not sleeping on Rodney Gallagher or Bray this year. I still think Gallagher especially is going to have a big season. I think it's just some adjustments taking place right now and getting into the flow of working as a team.
Last key to the victory that we had is keep feeding the ball to Jaheim White. Jaheim White, he didn't even have 100 yards last game. And this is, I think, probably our most skilled athlete on the team right now. I don't see any reason why he shouldn't get at least 150 to 200 yards every game in a Rich Rodriguez offense. I'll go ahead and add Sincere Bowers there too, Dior Hubbard, some of these other guys, Cam Katz, they should be getting a lot of yards, and I think we just need to keep feeding them.
Agreed. And we said it last week too, right? We knew that the big runs were going to come in the second half when the defense was worn out. I mean, look, these mid-level schools and FCS schools, they don't have the depth of major programs. They just don't. That's really when you see a lot of the skill for the better teams kind of just pop up. And we knew that was going to happen last week, which is why I think we saw so many of the bigger runs in the second half. I don't think it was the offensive line creating more holes. I just think that the defense probably got worn down and some of their starters and key players were not playing at the same clip that they were in the first half. And that's what happens. So I totally agree with you. But at the end of the day, if the offensive line doesn't do their job, you could feed Jaheim White all you want. If he doesn't have the space to run and they don't hold their blocks, doesn't matter how good you are, you're going to have a hard day.
Comment over on YouTube. Alexander says, do we have any lockdown corner potentials? Is that necessary role in Zach Alley's defense? I think it's a necessary role in any defense, but Michael Coates is absolutely a lockdown cornerback, the transfer from Nevada. He did have a pass interference in the game against Robert Morris. He played okay in the first game, I thought, but nowhere near up to his potential. And Jordan Scruggs is another cornerback who I think has lockdown potential. He got a big hit and a fumble recovery, a caused fumble in that first game. I think our secondary is probably the best secondary that we've had in Morgantown. I don't know about ever, but in a very, very long time.
Agreed. Yeah, and I agree with Coates. I mean, he came back in as the top returning D-back, and it's scheme, it's aggressiveness. We saw a lot of going after the ball last week, trying to create turnovers, putting pressure on the quarterback. It's going to result in turnovers and mistakes by the other team, and that's what makes Zach Alley so great at what he does. So, I do think we have a lockdown corner definitively in Coates, and I do agree that Scruggs could be the next guy up and is close to it. So I think we have a really solid back line, and it allows Zach Alley to be as aggressive as he is to try and have the offense of the other team make mistakes. And, we saw that a bit last week, and we had the one fumble taken away. But again, um, that's what's fun about watching a Zach Alley defense. And for anybody that's been following this program for a long time, you can't tell me last week didn't look night and day, even in game one, comparatively what we've seen in the last 6 years of garbage from the D coordinators that we had under Neil Brown.
Love this comment over on YouTube, man. Got to get an eat shit fit in comment. Guys, Bernie, what is your prediction for the game this Saturday? Mountaineers big, I presume.
Yeah, I think I've got 35-21. That's what I'm going with. I think, look, Ohio's quarterback is talented, and he can run. And I think Zach Alley's probably going to put a spy on him for a little bit of the game just to limit some of that opportunity. But I think they're going to score a little bit, but I don't think it's going to be a 3, 4, 7-point spread, whatever, Vegas has us as. I think we're going to be able to score at will. Rich Rod's going to get creative on some of the offensive schemes. We have better skill players. We haven't seen our good guys that we know are talented really emerge because they haven't had to. And I think we're going to see that this week. I think Rich Rod took the foot off the gas a little bit, fourth quarter last week, or the score would have been higher. You would see more offensive players. So I think we're going to see a little bit of a different team this week with some other key players stepping up. So I've got 35-21. Mountaineers win and set up a game day showdown with Pitt.
Yeah, I had it close, or close to what you said. 42-17 is what I have the Mountaineers winning. I think we're going to jump all over them at the beginning. I think we're going to play super fast, and I think it's going to be out of reach pretty quickly. And then, like you said, the big game against Pitt, man. What are our thoughts on this game? Did you have a chance to see Pitt in the opener? Do you think that you still feeling confident about us handling business against Pitt?
I am. Yeah. And I mean, look, their linebackers look good. That's fine. But again, at the end of the day, I think we have more skill players, and I think that there's going to be a different fire for Rich Rodriguez and a different emotion. Now, that could go either way, though. I will tell you that. I've thought about that. Even the Ohio game, right? And I think Rich Rod's a little more seasoned than he was previously because what's at stake, right? If Pitt wins and we win, that would be awesome to have game day back in Morgantown. We haven't had that, I don't believe, since LSU in like 2000. I don't even know what year it was, 12, 14, can't remember. But to be able to have that, it also might make you play a little tentative or coach a little tentative. And then same thing with the Pitt game. There's a lot of emotion there for Rich Rod, right? Doesn't matter who you are, that has to play into it a little bit. I'm just hoping that that's not the case, but I think Rich Rod's a really sharp coach, and I think he knows how to keep his emotions in check, and he's just going to go out there and he's going to execute, and he's going to tell everybody to do the same thing and just keep your head down and follow the game plan.
Yeah, we posted a couple weeks ago that if West Virginia and Pitt both take care of business tomorrow or on Saturday, that College Game Day will be in Morgantown. We had the credentialed media and we had the YouTube guys jump on later and say the same thing with their sources. But we said it 2 weeks ago. I believe that based on what I've seen, that College Game Day will in fact be in Morgantown when West Virginia wins one Saturday. And then are we hoping that Pitt wins, man? Is that what we've come down to? That we hope that Pitt wins on Saturday so we get College Game Day?
Yeah, I don't even know who they're playing, to be honest. I haven't even followed it. But
who cares?
Who is it?
I said, who cares, right?
Right. But I mean, I would assume they're going to take care of business. I think when we looked at their schedule a while back, we assumed that they were going to be 2-0 going into the game with us, and we felt the same way. So, I mean, look, I think it's a fantastic opportunity. We don't know when the backyard brawl is going to be played again after this game. So, I hate to say it, but I'm rooting for them to win, and I'm rooting for us to win and see what happens and let the chips fall where they may. And hopefully we get ESPN back in Morgantown.
They're playing Central Michigan at home, so they should be fine. Not much of a home field advantage, as we know, but Central Michigan, they should be able to take care of business. Bernie, it's been fun. I can't wait till Saturday, man. I think it's going to be a huge Mountaineer victory. Any last thoughts, buddy?
Yeah, no, it's actually funny. I don't know if you saw the press conference with Rodriguez talking about how our fans have, bought up essentially all the tickets for the Ohio game, and it's really not going to be an Ohio home game. It's going to be more of a West Virginia home game. So I'm excited to see that atmosphere. And you know what? I'm also excited for the brawl and just to put all this nonsense behind us, because you and I have been trolled by these idiots from Pitt trying to call out our attendance, and they can't even fill the stadium for their own home games. They never have been unless they're playing us. So again, I think it's a great opportunity to put the program back into the national spotlight in year one with Rodriguez. Pat McAfee's been talking about it consistently on his show, which I love. And, hopefully the guys just keep their head down, take care of business, and we set up that matchup, and then we take care of business, and then we have a tough Kansas team the week after. One step at a time then.
Yeah, big game, guys, on Saturday against Ohio, 4 p.m. Guys, thank you so much for tuning in tonight. Let's have an awesome rest of the week. Big Mountaineer victory on Saturday. Let's go Mountaineers.
To Morgantown, we break it first. WVU pride, we quench your thirst. No spin, all truth, loud and proud. Mountaineer nation, say it loud. The voice of Morgantown. VOA.